people forget about you because, like it or not, there's always someone who's selling something similar and or exactly the same thing as what you're selling, unless of course you're selling oxygen. Welcome to another episode of Mbali Talks with me, Mbali, your platform for all things business, fashion, and lifestyle. In today's video, I'd just like to share a couple of mistakes that I feel like as small business people will make, especially when we're starting out, and I'm trying to avoid a situation where you make those mistakes with your business. If you just found our channel, thank you so much. You just found one of the best channels on YouTube right now, so please join our community by hitting that subscribe button below, and also turn on your notifications so that you never miss out on any on the episodes happening here, honey. If you've been with us since day one, thank you so very much. Your DMs, your inboxes, your emails, they always keep this channel going, so thank you so very much for that. One of the first mistakes a lot of small businesses and or startups do is that you're not marketing your business enough. So starting a business is more than about just having a product that you know that you can sell. It's also about having a solid marketing strategy that you can implement from the get-go in order for you to be able to always seem like you are coming up in front of the faces of the people who you're hoping to be customers and therefore convert to sales. I often find small business people don't necessarily use all the apps and or platforms that are placed in front of them in order for them to be able to reach their customers. This basically includes WhatsApp Business, Instagram, and or Facebook. And depending on the product that you're selling, you need to be able to know where exactly it's going to do better, whether on a platform like Instagram or on a platform like Facebook. WhatsApp is one of the easiest platforms for you to be able to use because I just feel like you're literally starting out with the people who are more likely to want to support you, aka your friends and family. So there isn't a lot of work that would really go into you posting on WhatsApp. And I know sometimes when you're using WhatsApp, you feel like, oh my goodness, now I'm posting the same product every day. My advice: post, 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 especially like I'm saying on WhatsApp, where basically the status only lasts for 24 hours. You want customers to always know that when they go to your WhatsApp number, there will always be a product and or catalog that they can go through at any given point in time. So one of the challenging things about that is, I know as a business that our most busiest times of the month are literally in the middle of the month towards the end of the month. The first 2 weeks of the month are so dry, guys. Like, it's not even funny. You can literally find yourself doubting what you're doing as a small business. But because I've now figured that, it doesn't mean that in the first 2 weeks of the month we don't post anything because people don't have money. We do, because also there are people who feel like, I don't mind buying something on the 5th. Yet at the same time, there's people who buy at the end of the month. You don't want any of those customers to feel like you're depriving them from your product and or your presence online by just only targeting the last 2 weeks of the month. So you need to be consistent in how you're showing up online for your small business. This also involving knowing when to post as a small business. There's actually an app that I think I recommended one time in one of my videos a while ago, and it's just basically apps that help you to plan, schedule, and also analyze the kind of content that you're posting on your pages so that you know when it's the best times for you to be able to post as a small business. And also being able to schedule your posts, especially on Instagram, means that you're not waking up every day, like I'd say in a different video, trying to work for Instagram. Those posts will automatically be able to just post themselves based on the kind of scheduling that you would have decided to choose for that day. Not only that, but it just helps you to be able to plan your feed so that you can kind of look at your Instagram page to be able to see what picture or what kind of content looks best next to a different content. Also, I had mentioned this in a previous video that it helps for you as a small business to be able to batch create your content so that you don't run out of things that you can post. Because if you do, that's what then makes you keep disappearing in front of the faces of the people that are actually your customers. And like I said, the problem with that is if you post and disappear, people forget about you because, like it or not, there's always someone who's selling something similar and or exactly the same thing as what you're selling. Unless of course you're selling oxygen. The second mistake that a lot of small businesses do, and this is a very controversial point, guys, so please don't shoot me if you're one of those people. It's that you think you're selling a luxury. And like I said before, unless you're selling oxygen, honey, you're probably selling a product that people have seen before and or can get from somebody else. There's literally no need for you to make customers feel like you are actually doing them a favor by them coming to buy your product. As a small business, Your most prominent way of communicating with customers is via text, whether it's a DM or an inbox or an actual WhatsApp message or even an email. So basically, you're working every day with text, right? Because also you don't have a brick and mortar store where people can just walk in and get the nice customer service and create music and the ambience. You don't yet have the luxury to have that. So for you, what works best is just the online communication with your customers. And people often say text has no tone. However, when you're running a business, there actually is kind of like a tone. For example, a customer will send you a question of, oh, how much is this? And all you're gonna do is just send the price of the thing. Like, that's a one-word answer. Already as a potential customer, I feel like, oh, okay, I'm not necessarily welcome in this business, so why exactly should I be paying these people for my money? Because it literally seems like they're just sitting there like, yeah, at $3.99. Guys, you need to do better. At FDC and or at Crown Necessity, when someone sends us a question or they comment on a story about a product, is this product available? Most likely, our answer is going to go a little something like this. Hi babe, welcome to FDC. This product is this much amount of money. There's this many sizes that are available. The fabric is a bit stretchy and the pants have pockets. Just to give the customer a lot of detail on the product so that the customer can already feel like, oh my goodness, I am welcome on this platform and or page. Not only that, it just makes it easier for the customer to feel like, oh, I'm making my decision. This is definitely a product that I'd like to buy. On top of that, we'll go on to say something like, what size would you like? What color would you like if maybe the product comes in different colors? And then we'll say, please use the following bank details for you to be able to make payment if it's somebody who's not buying online. Creating that kind of sort of consistent text and sort of automated response for your customers just makes customers feel like you're a prepared business, you're a business they can trust, and also they are meant to feel extra special by the amount of attention that you're actually giving them as a small business. The third mistake that a lot of small businesses people do is that you take too long to respond to customer queries. And I know the 2 points can look like they're almost the same point, but they are not really, because there's a lot that goes into you being able to respond to customers promptly. And I know sometimes you find that as a small business person, you're literally starting out, you probably still have your 8 to 5 job, and that's well and good, but it's your responsibility to kind of get creative in terms of how you're going to be able to respond to customers at any given point in time. Another option is for you to be able to put working hours to say that we start from 8 a.m. to like 6 p.m. so that when people come across your page or your business, even if it's on WhatsApp, even if it's on Facebook, they just know that, oh, if I send a message at 8, I'm probably not going to be able to get a response. That is 8 p.m. I'm probably not going to be able to get a response because the business closes at 6 p.m. But if you don't put all those things for your customers to know, people are going to feel like if they text you at 7 p.m., whether it's a Friday or a Saturday, they're going to expect you to be able to respond because you have not said to them you are not available as a small business. Another way to help you to promptly respond to your clients is creating automated messages on your social media pages. I know that this is actually something that happens on WhatsApp. It also happens on Facebook if you have a business Facebook page for your business. What I like about those options is that it allows you to package a small message that you can send to clients immediately when they send you a message, so they don't have to wait for you to actually come back to see that message. We actually did this recently on FDC's Facebook page, where we went all the way into including a link to our online shop so that as a customer, you don't have to wait for us to come back and see your inbox. You can literally just click on the link, go to the online shop and be able to see what kind of products are available, especially probably the one that you're asking about. You'll be able to see the size, the price, the different colors that are available. You don't have to wait for us as a client to be able to come back and say, oh hey, sorry, we've been away or our Wi-Fi was done. No. As a small business, those are the things that you're supposed to be taking advantage of, because what I like about these apps is that they literally kind of give you the tools that you need to be able to seamlessly seem like you're running your business, especially as a small business, because you don't have the amount of budget that allows you to have a marketing team or hire a social media marketer, especially when you're starting out. So do take advantage of that. What we try to do with my businesses is that we try to keep it to a maximum of 30 minutes without responding. If it so happens that now you've gone through the automated message, then you send us a follow-up question, we literally give ourselves at most 30 minutes to be able to respond to your text. If we don't respond in that time, trust me, customers will lose interest in your business. Also, like I said, because of all the scams that go on online, customers just often feel like, is this not a scam? So you don't want to be creating that kind of mindset in them by you suddenly disappearing, you not responding on time, you taking a whole day to be able to respond. And I have some of my small business coaches who will tell me that, you know what, I'm not into retail, but I really do want to start a business, or I'm not really good with people, but I really want to have this business. If that is you, my advice, find the money to be able to hire someone who can be a social media marketer, because you don't want to be losing customers because you're not available, or you're always busy, or you respond late, or maybe your text of tone is just bad. You don't want to do that to your clients, right? The fourth mistake that I see a lot of small businesses doing is that you do not have an after-sales service strategy in place for your business. What this basically means is, if a customer buys from you and then suddenly they have a follow-up question after they've bought the product or after they've received the product, you are then sort of feeling like you don't want to respond because you feel like you've gotten your money, they've gotten the product, they should kind of leave you alone. Guys, it's insane for you to think like that. And I'll be honest with you, this is something that really used to bother me when I was starting out in my fashion business, because I just often used to feel like if someone buys something and then they come back and say, oh, this thing is too small, it's not fitting, it would always make me feel like maybe it's a bad reflection on the kind of work that we have done as a business, in the sense that it means we are not skilled enough to be able to provide the right sizing. Until I started thinking to myself, how many times have I returned things to Woolworths, or even at Clicks, or most common, maybe even Zara? So many times. Like, those businesses during the day have people walking in and out to exchange things, to either get their money back or to exchange them for another product, and they allow those things because they realize that there's no way in hell they would be able to sell items and then have items not have a problem. And sometimes it's not your product that has a problem, it's just maybe the item didn't sit on the client the way that the client thought. Like the one time I actually had a lady buy a dress, and when she got it, she was like, you know what, this dress is beautiful, I really like it, I really love seeing it on the picture, but the fabric is just not the kind of fabric that I thought it was. Can I please return it? And gladly we were like, sure, no problem, please return it to this following address, we're going to keep your money as a credit, and or we can reward you in full. And the nice thing about that is, again, it just made customers feel like you're a business that they can trust, because you're not seeming like you're just waiting there to grab their money and then run away. Customers want to be able to know that they can always go back to your business to either inquire or even to give you feedback. I definitely love getting feedback from my customers, because I feel like it's the reason why we keep improving the product that we're putting out there as a business. So as a small business person, those are the things that you should be open to. Don't think it's a bad reflection on you as a business and or product. And sometimes you will find yourself in a situation where you've bought a product that is somewhat prone to defects, and sometimes when you're buying the product, to be quite honest, but you're just hoping that nobody discovers the defect until maybe a couple of months into using the product. First of all, my advice would be, don't buy products like that. But if you do, then in your mind, you must already set up the psychology to expect people to come back to either give you feedback or to ask to return the product, so that you are open and honest and willing to be able to help them with that part of the business. You don't want to suddenly take people's money and disappear. You want to have an after-sales strategy that your customers can trust and know that they're dealing with a business that is actually legit. The fifth and final mistake that a lot of small businesses do, and which ends up choking their business, and which quite honestly for me is one of the most important points, so I hope you've stayed to the end of this video, it's that you try to have too many products too soon. And I know this is something that easily happens because you're very excited about your business, you're starting out, and you've discovered so many amazing products that you want to share with your clients. However, as a small business, unless you have an investor shame, or you have, tons of money for you to be able to start your business, which then does not make you a small business, you don't have the money for you to keep experimenting with every product that is available in your industry and or on your market. First of all, this is financially draining, because like I said, you don't want to find yourself having bought 1,000 units of something and then it doesn't sell, because it means you're going to be strapped financially. Secondly, it's a risk, because even though you're excited about the product as a small business, it does not necessarily mean that's the kind of product your target market wants. Especially because a lot of small businesses make the mistake of not sitting down with themselves to properly create a target market schedule and or focus. Not only that, you don't take the time to see if the product is something that is actually viable and something that customers need in the market for you to be able to suddenly wake up in the morning and invest in 1,000 units of the product, you know? The way that you can work around this situation as a small business is, firstly, try to do product promotions before you actually launch a product. What does this mean? This basically means you create a hype about the product and or your business before you actually go and buy the product. And sometimes you find this works especially for people who stock on platforms like Alibaba.com, where the product is more likely to take about 3 months to come. But you've already gotten the product and or the product picture that you can use on your social media pages to post. Not only that, it just allows you to get a feel of the market to see if people are really interested in that kind of product. Secondly, you can actually do something called a pre-order system. This basically means you post a picture of your product and say to people, this is available on pre-order. It takes about 14 days for you to be able to get it. It will only be provided for people who have actually paid. This allows you to work around the risk of you buying a lot of product and then having nowhere for them to sell. And this is a strategy that we use at FDC, where sometimes I find myself finding a fabric that's either too pricey for me to be able to play around with it, and or it's very limited from the wholesaler, which means they only have one roll. And I really get excited about the fabric and I can already see the kind of thing that I want us to make with it. However, I don't want to risk making size 28 to size 44 and then having those sizes in the middle not being bought, you know. So what I would do is just say this garment is available on pre-order. We will only make it for customers that have actually paid, because it means the customer is already committed to the product before we can even play around with the fabric, you know. It just helps you as a business for you to avoid the risks that are involved with having too many products too soon as a small business. So I hope you've made it to the end of the video, because this was a jam-packed video and these are the mistakes that I see people making every day. That is why you find people feeling like they've suddenly started a business and then they stop, and then they go and start another one and then they stop. You just get overwhelmed by the fact that there's so many of the mistakes that you're making at the beginning of your business that it makes your business seem like it's already a failure before it has even really taken off. So I definitely take these points with me moving forward if I'm a startup and or a new business person, so that you can just kind of foolproof your business plan from the get-go. If you've made it to the end of this episode, thank you so much for staying until the end. I hope all these points are going to be useful to you as you're forging forward as a small business person. And remember guys, like it or not, being a small business person and or having a side hustle has actually become a requirement in life with everything that's going on right now. People lose their jobs and or they're taking pay cuts. You don't want to find yourself left out in the cold just because, I don't know, you decided not to start your side hustle in time, or you decided not to take up that business idea you have. Trust me, your business idea is probably the one that we've all been waiting for in the market, so I would definitely be running with it. Other than that, thank you so much for joining. I hope if you've not joined our community, you will hit that subscribe button before this video ends so that you can join us. And also, please turn on your notifications so that you don't miss out on any of the content that happens here, because you guys know that we're always on a notebook system when we come to this page. Not only that, please leave me a like and a comment in the comment section so that I know what other content you'd like to see going forward. Other than that, thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you in the next video.